If you have 10 quality fans, you can start your Patreon right now. What's up, music lovers? My name is Kev Rowe and I am a working singer-songwriter. Welcome back to this tutorial series I'm doing on Patreon. So this video I'm calling the Patreon Funnel for Patron Acquisition, which is kind of just a fancy way of saying how to get patrons. By calling it a funnel, it gives me a chance to show you the steps that you can take to finally get patrons on your Patreon account and fund your career, your passion, your music, your art, whatever. So, step one is quality exposure. And notice that I said quality. So, first, you have to get your music out there and get some fans. Now, you're not going to have 1 million fans. I know that. You're just starting out. Maybe you have a couple hundred fans or 1,000, or maybe you have 10. If you have 10 quality fans, you can start your Patreon right now. You somehow need to develop some digital content, whether it be music videos or vlogs, or somehow your stuff has to be out there. Now, I'm kind of assuming that you've already done this stuff. If you're watching this video, you've made it this far. You've got some hardcore people. Those are your patrons. Think of the faces that love you, support you, and want to be with you in your endeavors. Those are your patrons. So that exposure is key. Second step, give them something. In a traditional sales funnel or an e-marketing funnel in the marketing world, they call this a lead magnet. Now, the lead magnet is giving them something of value, which is a little more special than just your normal content, in exchange for usually their email address. So this goes down the road of email marketing, where you're giving them a free song, a free album, a free piece of, a free course, something to say, hey, I like you. I want you to be a part of my universe, a part of my ecosystem, and I want to give you this thing. I think that it can better your world in some way. In return, they'll sign up for something. So your email address, a webinar, maybe they'll just visit your website. Somehow they come to you, right? So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is relationship building. Consistently communicating with your potential patrons, let's call them your followers at this point, and building up a relationship. This is what I'm doing this week. Check out this new video I made. Check out the new song I'm working on. Check out this behind the scenes of me making my art. Anything that can build value and get your relationship with those followers, potential patrons, and really start to get a dialogue with them. Step number 4, launch the event. Now you've got some followers, you've got this relationship with them. They're saying, what's coming next? What can I do to help Kev or you do? What can I help them to do with this passion, with this thing they've been talking about? Patreon launch. Now you've got a new album, you've got a new product, a new service, a new course. Something goes down at a scheduled date. So let's call it September 1st. You're going to launch your Patreon to all of these potential followers, and make the ask. Then you're going to point blank just ask them, you've heard me describing what my passion is here. We've gone through these steps together. Exposure, giving them something with the lead magnet, developing that relationship, and now asking. Now, I really want to reiterate, you don't have to have 1 million followers to do this. You don't have to have 1.6 million followers on YouTube. You just need like 5 to 10 hardcore people. That's the beauty of this system. It's about quality. It's not necessarily about quantity. Now, scaling up becomes an issue of quantity, but you can't scale up anything until you have some numbers, some social proof, some systems in place that are proven. So, in this last step, step number 4, we're launching your Patreon page. Now, once you get this Patreon page, get some patrons in here, you're going to get momentum. And this is all about momentum. By setting up this Patreon page in the first place, you're kind of committing to becoming a digital content provider. Not necessarily a YouTube star. Your content can be whatever you want it to be because it's continuously changing based on what your patrons want and need. That's what tells you what to make, what they want to see and hear. So you're going to go through, after this initial launch, it's about momentum. You've got your Patreon going along, and then you're just going to consistently put out videos and content for the months to come. Now, some months are going to be one video, maybe a picture or a post. It can be casual. Then, maybe 6 months later, a year later, you do another launch where you have another big event and you get more patrons. So it's not like every month you have to be building this huge castle of patrons. It's about knowing the right time to make the ask or to present an offer. So again, the Patreon funnel for patron acquisition, or how to get more patrons, how to get new patrons, is exposure, give them something for free, a lead magnet. Number 3, relationship building. Number 4, make the ask, have an event, and get some patrons. There are lots of ways you can go through these 4 steps, and depending on what kind of artist you are, if you're a musician or any kind of entrepreneur, those steps all change depending on your industry and the relationship you have with your audience. But that's just a basic kind of framework for someone who's just starting off to know that, look, you don't need 1 million fans to do this. Right now, I have 900 YouTube followers. That's it. 900. And I make $2,500 per month on Patreon. Now, my platform is Facebook. I have a lot more fans on Facebook, so I have 42,000 followers on Facebook. Just to be clear, I do have that audience there, and I have a huge mailing list. I have 10,000 people on my email list, just to put all the numbers out there. But you don't need all that stuff. You need quality. Really, I have 10,000 people on my email list, but I have a couple hundred diehard fans who will do anything that I ask of them. Thank you to those people. And the rest are casual fans. You know, it's not as intense of a relationship, but what I'm saying here is about quality, and you can do it. Subscribe to my channel here on YouTube if you're enjoying these videos. This one went a little long, but I'm trying to really give you a lot of value in these. Also, you should join the Musicians Club on my Patreon page.